It's Whatcha Watchin. Welcome to Whatcha Watchin, presented by Geeky A Go-Go, a show where we dive into what's currently on our screens. Big screens or little screens, size matter not here, just the quality or lack of our cues. I'm Chris Nitro. Joining to me today in the Go-Go is Eric Ho.
And only Eric Ho.
Only Eric Ho today.
What a day.
What's going on, man?
What a day. This is a big day. Pizzuto's missing a podcast for the first time since the beginning.
He made it 25 episodes.
When the cats are away.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
No,
he's busy with stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, we saw you, and Anthony had a chance to get lunch finally. Catch up. Sorry I couldn't make it last time. Was away in Spain, enjoying some tapas.
Tapas in Barcelona.
That's right. Highly recommend it, man. I am a huge fan of the city of Barcelona. It's just so pretty. What a pretty city, and so well organized. And I think when we were going, people were like, "Oh, beware pickpockets! Beware pickpockets!" Especially, you look the way you do, and you're American. You're a prime audience, prime target for the pickpockets. But I think it's common sense, people. Just like any other city, common sense. Had a lot of fun food. We could not get used to how late the Spaniards eat in general. It is. When we travel, sometimes we do like to hit up some fancy spots, food included. And one of the restaurants we went to, I can only find a reservation for 9 o'clock. And Jessie was like, "Oh, it's so late." While she wasn't complaining, she was just saying, "This is so late." And I went, "No joke. They open at 8 p.m. And
wow.
So 9 p.m. was good. And then we had a lunch spot where we had a reservation at 1. We got there. We're like, the door's closed. We got there at 1 on the dot. And then they opened as we were getting there. And I go, so this is how late people eat. So that took a while to get used to. I think my stomach is still adjusted.
Interesting. I went to Italy with my wife a while back. And it was the same thing, right? They start dinner super late. And it takes forever. The whole, because it's like horses and it's like everyone's having a good time and whatever, and we're like, no, we want to go see stuff, let's go, we want to eat and get out of here. But obviously the food is actually one of the things you go to visit the country for, so I get it. But I mean, when I lived in New York City, I was always used to eating like 8, 9 o'clock at night, 7:30, 8, later than that. But then I moved out here to New Jersey in the suburbs, and then having kids, it's like, nope, got to eat early because we got to start the bedtime routine and all that stuff. And there's nothing to do out here. So like, why are you awake this late? So then you go back to Europe and you're like, what's going on here?
Dude, but it's ridiculous. Like, there was a tapas place we really wanted to go to, and we couldn't get a reservation. And I was looking it up on my phone, and I go, well, I guess there is one at 1 a.m. in the morning. And I go, why is there a reservation for 1 a.m. in the morning? But we did not go. We were... Okay. That was a little excessive for us, but that was nice. So really enjoyed it. Hoping to make it back actually to Spain. Here in our, as some of you all know, Chris and I are in the Five vs Legion, and they do a huge event every year in Spain. I think this year it's going to be sometimes in September, October in Madrid. We're doing a huge parade, so hopefully I get to go back again to join those guys and kind of check out the festivities. But yeah, I happened to go on Star Wars Day also. Met some local troopers, so lots of fun. What about you? What were you doing this past week?
A whole lot of nothing. I did get my boiler upgraded. I shouldn't say I did it, but I had it done. It was not an easy ride, right? Through no fault of the company, the HVAC company that came to do everything, the plumber, whatever, they were phenomenal. They're not sponsors, so I'm not dropping names, but you feel free to hit me up in the Discord, and I will gladly pass off info to anybody in New Jersey that's looking for a plumber. Great company, highly recommended. Just not going to name drop. But it turns out they were here 3 times to get the install done, which they were doing some other work too. So half a day was for them. But then the last day was completely to troubleshoot the problems I was having. And then they got everything fixed. They pressure tested it literally and figuratively, put it through the ringer, and it was working. The guy leaves, same problem. Like, so I'm like, okay, let me call the office. They were obviously was closed. It wasn't an emergency. Like, I didn't have like pipes burst or anything like that. So I was like, I'll wait till the morning to call. I called it this morning. They showed up 2.5 hours later with a brand new boiler. They were like, we're just swapping the whole thing out.
There you go.
Yep,
and what about now?
Perfect. Works perfect. I mean,
so it was the unit's problem.
Yep. We all suspect it was a unit's problem. Something, everything is, computer based nowadays. And I used to work in IT, and we used to get, and I tell people all the time, we used to get computers, brand new computers, to like install the company's OS into it and stuff like that. And we would literally hit the power button on these things and they would fry. So like, it happens, folks. Like, you can buy something and it'll be a complete lemon. It'll be completely bricked right out of the box, even though it's brand spanking new out of the factory. It happens. Something happens. Wires get crossed. Something wasn't soldered right. And to troubleshoot those things, it could take a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. These guys were super professional, very apologetic. Came in right off the truck. They're like, we're swapping this out. We're done. And we're going to send it back to the factory. They're going to take care of everything else. Don't worry about anything. They didn't bill me a thing. Like, very nice, great company. And so far, no problems. Right?
Good.
I mean, I've only had it for like, I want to say 6 hours now, but fingers crossed.
Sounds like you need to take a long shower just to test it out.
Oh yeah. We were pushing it, putting it through the tests and everything today. Like, he told me that the one of my water spigots, like the boiler can handle like 5 gallons a minute or 4 gallons a minute or something like that. One of my water spigots does 8 gallons a minute, and it was handling it, for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just we're doing good.
I'm a big fan of the tankless, man. The tankless is a good way to go. And what you just said is, I was talking to another HVAC guy back in Texas, and he was just complaining about how, to your point, everything's so computerized these days. And when you buy a machine, in the before days, you could just buy parts to replace them. Now they don't even make parts for these things anymore, and so it's really hard for you to repair things anymore these days. And you might as well just end up buying a whole new machine, because there's just no way. Like, they don't have the parts, they don't have the expertise in doing it anymore, these HVAC guys. And then, by the way, sometimes to even get certified to repair some of these machines, you have to become like a preferred whatever vendor for these folks. And so it's not easy, man. I think the trades are having not so fun time dealing with a lot of these kind of computerized kind of upgrades that we're getting. But I don't know. I wonder if that's just the trends and how the future is going to turn out. But
I think to your point, I think it's a little bit of, does a company want to put something out that's cheap and people can afford, and can satisfy the immediate need, or do they want to build something that's rugged and can stand the test of time and supply parts for it? Because the guys that were
right? Why would I want to do that? Like, I could be making so much more money.
Well, it's the upkeep. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. if the trust the consumer has with the company. You know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to spend a little bit more money to know that, like, this is going to, like, last me the next 10 years, right? 20 years, whatever the case may be, versus I know this thing is going to last me 3 years. I'm going to have to buy a new one in 3 years. Yeah, I guess it's a matter of preference, and probably your wallet too, whatever you can afford. But people should think about that. Like,
as I get older, I definitely are now more in the camp of I will pay for quality that will last a long time versus let me do this, and maybe I'll replace it in another like 3 months kind of situation. It's just
Mm-hmm.
with this machines, clothing, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
One of the
cool.
interesting the guys told me was like that he said that this boiler was actually designed to be repaired, right? The like there's things that are like quick release. There's stuff that has easy access. Like you don't have to unscrew like 15 little tiny screws. It's like you pop these three latches off, and then the panel comes off, and then you can access behind it real quick. So it's like one of those forward thinking things of companies like, hey, we're going to build a solid product that's easy to maintain, but it's going to cost everybody a little bit more because we're putting these design ideas into it. So yeah, I appreciated it. Like I said, the swap didn't take that long. Obviously they piped it all out over the last week, but today was just quickly pull the thing out, put the new one in, test everything, and he got it up and running. So I'm happy about it.
Awesome.
So far.
Awesome.
So yeah, that was basically my last week in terms of like funky, geeky tech kind of stuff for me. Glad to hear Spain went very well. I'm a little bit jealous, but we could talk about that in a travel episode.
That's right.
But yeah, today we're doing Whatcha Watchin'. So, Mr. Eric, what are you watching?
Did you want to do like a, by the way, like a watching lead in or no? It's like
A what?
don't you usually do like a thing for leading into watch?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. Cool.
That's it.
All
Is
right.
what you watching, Eric?
Cut. All right. In 3, 2, 1. What I've been watching this week. I finished watching Star Wars Tales of the Empire on Disney Plus. So for those who don't know, Disney Plus has been releasing, I think before it was Tales of the Jedi, and now this is Tales of the Empire. Bunch of really small 10, 15, 20 minutes vignettes of stories about maybe some other side story and all that kind of stuff. So this one's all about the Empire. I'm all about the bad guys, so I was very much looking forward to these series of short stories. It's not exactly what I expected. For some reason, I thought it would be a lot more Empire. I'm talking like Imperials, Star Cruisers, Stormtroopers, all that kind of stuff. But what's interesting is the story really focused on 2 characters, right? So it focused on whatchamacallit, the Barris, which is one of the Jedi. I guess she made it to Jedi Knight, I think, in Clone Wars. What's interesting, I knew nothing coming into this thing. I just knew that the last time I saw her, I think she got arrested. So, spoiler alert, she got arrested. She was involving some bad things with Ahsoka and all that good stuff. Anyway, so she got arrested, and then there's a whole backstory. There's a whole story for her, and then another storyline was around Morgan Elsbeth, the magistrate that we saw in Mandalorian and later on in Ahsoka. About her backstory about being a Night Sister, and how she's gonna grown to work with Force/the Empire. Both characters of which I was not expecting to have a full story that they were gonna flesh out. I find Morgan Elsbeth thing was interesting because, I mean, live action, she's showing up in a lot more places, which makes sense to me. But the inclusion of Barris was a little bit, it threw me off quite a bit, and I wonder if there's bigger plan for her, or maybe that was it. They just had a fun and nice character to tell a backstory about. Anyway, I enjoyed it. It was a quick, gosh, I don't even know how many episodes. It was like maybe 5, 6 episodes. And it was a quick watch, and I enjoyed it.
Awesome. I forgot who plays Morgan Elsbeth again.
Well, it's played by the same woman who plays in the show, so Diana Lee Inosanto.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Bruce Lee's goddaughter, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
She's so cool. I was very excited to. Well, she was cool when she showed up on screen, and it was nice to see her getting highlighted being in a bunch of different shows now, and now in animation. And there are always questions because when we saw her, we knew she was a nice sister, but we didn't know why she looked not like a nice sister that we've known in other shows. And so in this Tales episodes, they did talk a little bit about her origin as a night sister and why she looked the way she is now. It was like a quick throwaway situation. Yeah, so talked about that. The other thing that I thought was really cool is I don't know. In my head, there is a difference between like a movie slash like a movie actor, a TV actor, and like a voice actor. And what's really nice about seeing some of these animation is instead of going to finding sound alikes for these folks, they're actually getting them to come back and voice their own character in the animation, which is really neat to see. And that was really nice.
Does that apply to Barasofi as well?
I don't know. Let's find out. Barris. Did Barris play Barris?
She was in the prequel trilogy, right? Or am I wrong? I know she was in the cartoon in the Clone Wars.
So this was the same woman who voiced Barris in the Clone Wars.
Okay.
But I think that's it. I don't think... Was she in live action?
So the live action actress is Nalini Krishan. Excuse me if I mispronounced that.
That's right. It's not Nalini. This is a whole nother woman. Meredith Salinger.
Okay. Yeah, and so it's the same actress from the Clone Wars cartoon that voiced. Nice. Okay, cool.
That's right.
Awesome.
I wonder what that's like, by the way. Like, all of a sudden, Disney just calls you up and go, hey, we would like you back because we're using your character again. And you're like, okay, here we go. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I enjoy... I've met a lot of voice actors over the year. And it's fun stuff. And it's nice to see their work being recognized and then not being replaced, and people are just keeping on kind of inviting them kind of come back and all that kind of stuff.
I remember, I forgot where it was. It might have been at Celebration Anaheim, 2022, right? It was 22, right? Yes. Or maybe in like an online skit or whatever. Ashley Eckstein, she spoke about that specific situation where like it was like Clone Wars is over, we're done with this, whatever happened, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're doing another season, and like and everyone's like, oh, did you get the call? And so like the actors themselves are like, hey, we're all coming back together, and they all get super excited about it. So like I'm happy to hear about that. We haven't seen Barris in a long time, so I'm happy that they brought her back in, and it's the same voice actress too. I know they tried to do right by that stuff, and if people are available, that's great. So yeah.
By the way, like Ashley Eckstein is like a special woman, and I've seen her at so many conventions, and the way that she interacts with her fans is just I mean I don't know her, but I love seeing how she has just embraced the fandom, and if you ever seen her at a convention, her line is always the longest one because she likes to spend time with her fans, which I so appreciate. Fun side story. This is years ago at a small con in Texas. Ashley Eckstein showed up, and it was great. She liked to show up. She take pictures with us, 501st Troopers, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so she went back, and I go, whoa, I'm pretty sure that's her husband next to her, who is just like helping her get water, and then hang out. For those who don't know, her husband is David Eckstein, 2-time World Series champion. It's one of those things where when he's at a con, he is just Ashley's husband, and he's out there just a regular dude, doing his thing. And then, but I love baseball, and then every time, and this is not the first time I've seen it, but every time I'm just like, dude, like this dude just sitting there, and some fans know that, some fans don't, right? And so on the side, I think we were going to the bathroom or something, so I was like, I ran into him. And I was like, hey, do people bring you stuff to sign when they come up to get your wife to sign stuff? He's like, yeah. She's had to sign baseballs, like all these kind of things.
That's cool.
I wonder how, like, do they charge for that? I don't know how it works, but I thought that was hilarious. And anyway, great couple. I love seeing them at cons. Actually, they go to a lot of cons together.
Yeah, definitely Star Wars royalty.
Yeah.
I for me personally, like I always want to run into her at a park, like
Yeah.
I know she gets mobbed and stuff like that, but still, like I would love to just bump into her in a park one day, because I know she often goes to Disney. So one day it's gonna have, fingers crossed, I want to bump into them at a park. What else?
What about you? What did you watch this week?
Chris, what you watching? My first pick this week was a show on Netflix called Hack Your Health, The Secrets of Your Gut. So
Get it? Colon?
No pun. I did not set that up. Thanks for pointing that out, Eric. The tagline on IMDb is an informative yet lighthearted documentary exploring the intricacies of the digestive system and its pivotal role in maintaining overall health and well-being. So, yes, I liked watching it for the science. However, why I'm talking about the show is because of they do these little animation cuts, skits, parts, whatever, when they start talking about the gut and the biome and this and that and the other thing. And the animation is amazing. Like I should have gone back and looked at the credits to find out what animation house did this. But it's like they take all these little like microbes and whatever, and they animate them in like felt, right? I don't know if it's computer generated. It doesn't look, it looks traditional animation.
So it's like stop animation feel?
Yeah, it looks like stop animation made out of like little pieces of felt with like eyes on it, and like they're going and they animate the food being digested and stuff like that. So it's not gross at all. It's just like these little cute like things running around doing their thing, and they talk about like things that shield your gut, and it's like little characters like arm in arm, like big bouncer like kind of things, and they're like little squeaky thing characters running around. That animation is amazing. Like if whoever is that animation, I wish, like I said, I'm not doing it justice. I should have gone back and looked at it, but if you're into the science of health, great. But 100% watch it just for those animations. I recommend it highly to everybody. I know we talked about at some point those funny disease and virus little plushies, right? I likened it to that, right? They have them like they could have done that. They could have made a product line with all these little like microbes. Super cool. Yeah, you could kind of see it a little bit in the movie poster, but definitely recommended it. I think the most famous person on it was what was his name? Takeru Kobayashi. Everyone knows Kobayashi from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. He has, funnily enough, eating that much hot dogs, or that many hot dogs over years and years and years and years. You would think like he's completely messed up physically. False. Like the show, he goes through the ringer. They do all these health tests and checks and this and anything, and the doctors tell him like, you are absolutely super healthy. Like he's really good. And a lot of his like gut problems that they talk about in the show are really a lot in his head. Like they're very mental. There's things that when he eats, like stuff in his brain lights up, and like so he doesn't get satiated unless he's like eating competitively. So like yeah, it's a fascinating show. I think it's, you know, it was only a little bit over an hour long. I think if you got the time, 100% recommend watching it.
So so
Oh
so it's a one episode show situation.
yeah, it's like a short documentary movie, an hour and 19
Got it.
minutes. There you go. You didn't rate Tales of the Empire, so I was
Oh,
about to read
eh,
mine.
I'll give you a three balls.
3 disco balls for Tales of the Empire. Okay, not
It's not
bad.
terrible. It's not bad. Why?
I
But hold up before you rate your thing. So, um, I mean, I don't think for like whole Kobayashi comment. I don't think people know. Like, if you look him up, I like he dude's got I think like a 6 pack. Like he is a fit dude. And fun fact, years ago, I was at a thing where there was a grilled cheese eating competition that I did that Kobayashi was at. This was not official. It was not a sanctioned. Well, there's a whole thing, by the way. There's a lot of drama, and we can talk about the idea of Major League eating and all these eating competitions, which I know very well a lot of stuff about. But anyway, it was one of those things where they invited Kobayashi to be at like as a celebrity, whatever participant, and bunch of us idiots is just around the table eating grilled cheese, and then you just see this guy just putting down grilled cheese like 1 bite, 2 bite, like just swallowing this whole thing. And I'm staring at him. I'm eating my grilled cheese, and I'm going like, "Oh my god!" And he's just downing them all. And I go, "This guy is not human." And like he has no gag reflex,
yeah.
like legitimate, just shoving this whole thing in. And I cannot believe that he has no problems in his body. I just
I mean, interestingly enough, they said it's because when he doesn't eat competitively, he eats a normal Japanese diet, right? So there's a lot of balanced foods, mixed foods, healthy fish, soy, seaweeds, wrapping sushi and stuff like that. So he like, even if he has like a hot dog in Japan, he makes it like a Japanese style hot dog where like it's it's good lean, cuts of pork and wraps it in vegetables and stuff like that. So like he eats like a normal person does, but that brain chemistry that links all of us basically just doesn't click, and he's like, he gets depressed, because he's like, oh, what am I doing? And so yeah, I don't know if he's hung it up, like if he's officially retired, but
he's
I
pretty
think
much
he's
done.
has he okay.
I mean, I don't think he's really on the circuit much anymore these days. I haven't seen him, and I follow this world quite a bit. I mean, honestly, after Nathan's like, after the whole falling out with Nathan's hot dog. Well, he didn't have a fall with Nathan's hot dog. He did not agree with some of the rules that were in place for Major League Eating to compete in that. So
Okay.
after he left the main competitive eating circuit, um, you haven't seen him making the rounds in a lot of things. I mean, you have like some of these other competitive eaters that have popped up over the years, and Kobayashi is getting up there in age in this world, and so I think I don't think he's doing competitive much anymore these days. I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they were hinting about him retiring, but I wasn't sure that he's like I'm retired. I don't think he said that at all. But I mean, he brought the game to another level, so good for him. I'm glad to hear that he's physically healthy.
Yeah.
I wish him the best mentally.
There we go. I mean, honestly, the last world record he set was in Canada in 2014.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Doesn't look like
Yeah, cool. So
right,
I mean,
balls.
I give it because of that animation. I'm a fan of animation. Because of that animation, I'm gonna give it 4 disco balls.
Nice. Now I really gotta check it out.
Yeah, kick it back to you. What you watching, Eric?
The second thing I watched, it was in theater. Still in theater. Just came out this past week. I had a chance to go check out Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's a mouthful to say. Um, it's nice. What's really nice is I completely forgot about the previous ones going in, and I had not watched any of the ones previously because I do think that this is part of the reboot that started with, um, was it James Franco? Was that James Franco who started Planet of the Apes? Um, Pretty sure
I
it
have no idea.
was. Um, but this is, I think, like the fourth movie in this whole franchise. Uh, yeah, yeah. James Franco. James Franco. And really, the only recognizable human that I've seen in this entire thing was William H Macy did a slight thing um, toward the middle end, and the woman who played the princess in The Witcher, she's the main character. Going
That's
in,
where she's from. I saw her in the
that's
trailer and I
where.
was like,
That's right. She looks familiar, and
familiar, but I'm like, why did they pick her? Like,
yeah.
yeah, okay, I
So
get it.
she's a, which is also interesting, right? Because she plays like a, it's she's like I think 22 now because Jesse and I were talking about this, and I go, this was probably filmed a long time ago, and it's interesting to seeing as like we saw the Stranger Things, seeing like child actors and now showing up, and they're actually an adult now, and so that was cool. And then well, there was a few other folks that kind of showed up. I think ever since I think Andy Serkis was the first one to do Caesar, in the original Planet of the Apes. I mean, he is the granddaddy of motion capturing these kind of things, and continue to be amazed by what they've done with these apes. Of just, I don't understand how they can make these CGI apes look so good. And then there are also movies out there who just make terrible and like CGIs, and I go, you've already had this like awesome setup here. How are you messing up elsewhere kind of situation? And that was just amazing, right? Because you're feeling the emotion. I think there's like emotion too, and then it's interesting because we're seeing the apes like face, and then they have like gestures, they have emotions, they have like, um, and I loved it. And then it's funny because walking out of the movie theater, like I just watched a movie where there's barely any humans in it, and I still feel kind of sad slash like I'm feeling things, right?
Hmm.
Premise of the story. It's being a few generations after the last Planet of the Apes movie, which I think was War or Planet of the Apes. I think.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that was it. And so there was a huge battle, and I think at the end of that movie something happened. But here, the story is about how few generations in the future, apes have essentially established dominance in the world, and humans actually have lost the ability to communicate. So they have actually devolved quite a bit. Um, but you know, apes don't have, it sounds like, written history yet, so a lot of things are still very much oral. And then it's interesting to hear about people talk about, oh well, like humans used to be able to talk and they used to be able to do fun things, and they built some of these things, but it's the apes world now, and exploring that little dynamic was interesting. And the whole story is essentially about this main character, um, whose name is, gosh, I'm blinking out. Uh, Noah? I think it was Noah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The main character called Noah, which is the main ape, um, meeting this human child, essentially, and then going on a little adventure together. The Noah is trying to avenge things that happened to his village, which you can see in the trailer, and how they ended up working. Um, the whole movie did not go where I was gonna go. I thought it was gonna go based on the trailer. The trailer really is just talk about like maybe like the beginning part of coming together, um, but it was really nice. I continue to be amazed by the action sequences, the CGI that went into the making of these apes, and honestly the acting that's in these things, because it's not easy to be able to act like that. I think, especially when you can't really see somebody's face, it's so captured. Um, so I really liked it. I think audiences agree. I think it's around 80% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. That about, and I think critics is rating around the same. So it was between this movie or The Fall Guy, which I also love stunts. But Jesse's like, I'm pretty sure that movie will be on streaming really quick, and so
Really?
we're gonna. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a quick streaming movie. I mean, I don't think it did actually all that well in the box office.
Okay.
But anyway, so that whole other movie. But that's also on my list. But I enjoyed it. Jesse and I went to see it. The theater enjoyed it. There were a few jump scares, which I was like, why are there jump scares in this movie? And it's always embarrassing when jump scares get you in a movie theater because you look around and go like, that was embarrassing. I hope nobody else saw me jump in my seat. But I enjoyed it. I will give it I'll give it a 4. That was a nice movie to watch. And I continue to enjoy these productions about these apes.
I'm looking at the sequence of the films and whatnot, the timeline. So interestingly, it has the original series, which started in 1968 and then ended in 1973. 5 films. I think it's 5. Yeah, 5 films. Then it says remake. This is on Wikipedia. It says remake, Planet of the Apes 2001, right? Then it says
Right.
reboot series. Reboot series starts with Rise of the Planet of the Apes 2011. So we have 10-year gap.
And that's the one with James. That's a James Franco one, right? I think that's the one with James Franco.
James Franco is in it. Yes, he is in it.
Yeah, him and Andy Serkis. That's the reboot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Andy Serkis was in the original, wasn't he? No,
No.
he is not. Yeah,
think
so
he
there's
was,
Mark
no.
Wahlberg, Tim Roth. It says Helena Bonham Carter. Okay, so
Yeah,
yes, you know what? It's a different film.
Andy Serkis was busy being Gollum, I think, around that time.
Yeah. Then you have so after Rise is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes, and then this one is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So yeah, that's interesting. Another 2, 3, 4 films. So are they going to finish it up with another 5th, or do you think this is it?
Well, it has gone in a very different direction than I think the original Planet of the Apes, right? Like the whole thing was, actually, I'm gonna take that back because I actually don't quite remember what the original movies were about. But I do think that they left the end of this movie with something for humanity, I think. And so I do think that they could set it up so that there could be another movie about how the surviving human possibly, right? Because are dealing with the world now that is run by the apes, essentially.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, I am very behind on that franchise. I need to catch up on it. So yeah, I don't remember. I don't think I watched anything after the 2011 one. So I definitely have some watching to do.
Just watch it for Andy Serkis, man. My goodness, this
Oh,
guy.
I mean,
is
of
just
course, always, but
anything he's in.
there's so much good stuff out there. Come on, Eric, you know this. We have a whole.
What's really confusing, by the way, about Andy Serkis, when Andy Serkis show up as himself, you're like, oh, they let
Hey,
you
but
act
you know what?
without mocap.
Even when he shows up for himself, he's never himself, right? He's like, there's always something off. Like when he played Claw in the Avengers films or whatever Marvel, Black Panther, whatever he showed up in those films, it's always like this like brooding, like rough something or other. He's never like, oh, cheery English guy. You know what I mean? It's like something like character. He's very good at that stuff. But you're right. Can never get enough of that man. He's very, very good actor. Even though he's never on screen most of the time.
It's just fascinating. This dude's anyway. I mean, like anything he's in. So
yeah. I'm up next because Anthony's not here. Twist the knife. The second film that I watched, I shouldn't say film. It's a show on Netflix that is an animation. Is 2023 release of Skull Island on Netflix.
there's a theme today, by the way. to apes and monkeys and gorillas. And all right, keep going.
I'm not done watching it, but I'm telling you that it is a very hard watch. I'm watching it because I thought it would fill in some gap into our MonsterVerse journey. Because I didn't watch it, in the chronological release. So I thought it would be, they would fill something in, and we were talking about like how does these things and timelines.
Wait,
and
this is actually part of the.
It's part of the MonsterVerse. According to Wikipedia, it is. However, it's also not. Does that make sense? So I'll read you the tagline on IMDb. It says, a group of shipwrecked characters attempt to escape from an island inhabited by horrifying monsters, including the giant primate who rules the island, Kong. No recognizable characters other than Kong himself. And then it's the island. I don't know if the island is a character or whatnot, but Skull Island, not anything else. It's that bad animation style that I don't like, right? It's a lot of dumb things happen. Like these kids evade these like crab creatures on a beach by literally jumping on this rock that's like this big, right? So I'm assuming like the crabs like live under the sand and they can feel motion, and then they jump on this rock.
Is a target audience for this children? Is that
no?
Is that why?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. There's gore, not like serious gore, but like parts. TV 14, so teenagers, right? But still, like, acting's not that great. Doesn't really fill a lot of the storyline. I'm having a very difficult time trying to follow along and stay awake watching this. I don't know why. Yeah, I can't. I don't know what to say about it, man. This is a short one, right? I don't want.
This is a lot of sighing, man. That's not good.
It's one of those things like, why am I doing this to myself? Kind of situation.
Wait, so is this a series?
It is a series on Netflix. 8 episodes, I believe it is.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I think I'm on episode 5.
Are you gonna continue watching this thing?
I'm gonna finish it. I'm more than halfway through now, right? Yeah, I don't recommend it to anyone. The kids are put into very weird situations. They start off on a boat, then they all get shipwrecked onto Skull Island, and then like they're all trying to get back together, and it's just weird, like getting chased by monsters that I'm like, you don't even have a weapon and you keep avoiding death. You know what I mean? Like there's mercenaries involved. I'm like, oh Jesus. Like
you're like, where did they come from?
Right. That's how the whole thing starts, very mysteriously, right? So the first episode is it's this girl trying to evade some people on a ship, that she manages to escape them, but at the same time she's like in handcuffs. But while she's in handcuffs, she just defeats all these people with like guns and stuff like that, and gets off the boat and ends up on a speedboat, gets away from the ship, sets the ship that she was on fire. What? I get it's a cartoon, but you're in a universe, right? Like, yeah, very tiring. Lots, like you said, lots of sighing.
That's disappointing.
I mean, if they had somebody that was in the films other than a monster that could tie it all together, maybe, but I mean, I haven't done my homework on it, like to say that definitively. Like maybe one of the goons is somebody that was in the scene in the background. Like, I don't know.
But it didn't feel necessary to investigate further.
Like they keep, like one of the kids keeps saying like, oh, I came across this crazy army guy who keeps telling me like, don't go there, you'll die, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, is he talking about John C. Reilly's character? Did he
survive / show up in there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. So hard pass.
Hard no.
I don't know if you want to
So
keep talking about it.
give it some balls, man. What is it?
I will give it a single disco ball.
Ooh, is that the lowest you've given a ball so far?
I think so. It might have been a tie, but I don't think I've given 0 to anybody.
It's nice because I think I did see it come across on Netflix, and I wonder why I haven't watched it yet. And I don't think I shall now. There is actually another I think animated I realized the other day for Godzilla. Um and I hope it's not turning out like Skull Island that you're talking about here.
There are other Godzillas. I don't think any of them are part of the MonsterVerse. So I don't know if it's something new you're talking about, something older that came out.
No, it's relatively old, I think.
Okay. There was one where it's the future, and I think they don't even live on the planet anymore, on Earth.
Oh.
And Godzilla basically is now the apex being on the planet. But the whole planet's like irradiated now because of him or something like that. So like I think all of Earth is like Skull Island, if that makes sense. Where like these huge radiation creatures running around, and this, like we were talking about before we started recording, about how like there is Godzilla like has exponentially gotten stronger and stronger as he's like, so he is like this mega behemoth thing where like he's so ancient and old now at this point where like he basically saunters, like he doesn't even have to like move around very much to like fight because there's nothing, everything is beneath him. And they're trying to like reclaim the planet, but it doesn't work out. I don't remember exactly what it was. Quite some time ago that I watched it. But yeah, I don't even remember the name of the series. Folks, if you remember the name of the series, please comment and let us know what we're talking about, what I'm talking about.
Like, that guy has no idea what he's talking about. Here it is.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. Godzilla, Netflix show, Planet of Monsters? I think this is it.
Is that old?
Planet of Monsters. Hold on. Let me... Godzilla, Planet of Monsters. This, I'm pretty sure there's a desperate group of refugees attempts to recolonize Earth 20,000 years after Godzilla took over.
Oh,
but
cool.
one young man wants revenge above all else. Yeah.
Does it look like the same style of the terrible thing you just watched?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is Japanese.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
IMDb says 6.0 out of 10. What else is there? Rotten Tomatoes says 75%.
That's not bad.
75% tomato meter, 44% audience score.
Ooh, okay.
But it's a standalone film, an hour and a half.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah. Pastime. If you have other things, go watch those other things. If you don't, feel free.
I have a long queue, man. I'm trying to finish catching up on Deadpools before I've been going through this whole rabbit hole trying to finishing all the X-Men movies. So
Okay.
talk about that. But I think I'm down to Logan. And Logan requires a bit of I need to be a certain mental state to watch that thing. And then the 2 Deadpools. I saw, what can I say for another day, but I also did catch up on some of these terrible other movies that were part of this whole franchise. Yeah, I need to finish that before Deadpool comes out.
If you want to, and you've seen Logan before.
Yeah.
I highly recommend a comic series called Wolverine Old Man Logan.
Which is what it's based on.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of, but it explains more.
I do enjoy comics, except I don't know, man. I'm more of an omnibus kind of person. Like I just like to give me the whole thing, and I can really just kind of blast through. I get a bunch of comic books behind it for that very reason. I never get into those one-off, man.
It's not it's part of a series. They do this thing where like they do tie-ins and stuff like that. So you're like, like exactly what you're doing right now is like you have to watch some Logan to see Deadpool and blah blah. Like, so they do that in comics. I don't think you you could do that, but I don't think you have to do that.
Yeah, but I like it, and I do want to do that. And then before I know it, becomes like a spider web of things I need to go watch, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you want to pass your time, if you're somewhere where you can't really watch anything, you want to read something, I recommend Wolverine, Old Man Logan.
We should talk. Let's do an episode about comic books. Actually,
I mean, we should have it as a regular thing.
Yeah.
We might have a couple of guests or something like that can talk more about comics, more versed in comics than we are. But yeah, that's all I got. Do you have anything else to wrap up?
No, that's it.
Cool. All right. Do you want more Geeky A Go-Go? Well, make sure you're following us on all socials at Geeky A Go-Go and share with us what you're watching. Want cool stuff? Want VIP access on our Discord channel? Head on over to patreon.com/geekyagogo and support the show. You'll get awesome swag and other perks. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're following the show on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. Thanks so much for listening. Peace out, everybody.